Hello there. Welcome to a Level Up virtual workshop. And today we're going to talk about reading for fun. I remember being a student and realizing that while I was reading a ton, I wasn't reading those novels or those interesting nonfiction books just for fun because I had no time. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to find some good books to read out there and set your reading list up for the summer. My name is Cami Goldowitz, and I am the Liberal Arts Liaison Librarian. So oftentimes, I think most people are familiar with, the idea of book lists and where you might typically go to find some recommended books. And the ones that are kind of mostly in the media are like the New York Times book review list. And while plenty of titles listed on this, and they do have different genres, fiction, nonfiction, so on and so forth, sometimes the books that land there might land there for reasons other than they're a fantastic written piece. Sometimes a celebrity has endorsed it. Sometimes it's about a celebrity. Sometimes it's something that's going on in the news. Sometimes it's talked about on a talk show, or maybe the book film adaptation has been released. So people run out to read the book before seeing the film. And all those are fine. But there are some amazing places to look for recommended reading. And these are the myriad of literary awards. So I thought I would expose you to those. And I'm going to share a PowerPoint. And within the PowerPoint are all the live links to the award sites. And then I'm going to follow that with some specific recommendations from some of our RIT library folks. So I'm going to share my screen. I also just, if you're seeing me and watching this, you have accessed the PowerPoint and this presentation at a different date because no one has joined me yet, which is fine. Let's see here. All right. I guess I should share my screen like I said I was going to. I'm going to start this from the beginning, slideshow. From the beginning. Yes, reading for fun. Thank goodness. You'll have time for that soon. It's interesting to note too that for many of the students out there, if you're going away on co-op, you might not know a lot of people. Your social life might be dampened a little bit. So if you find some more time to yourself, reading a great book is a wonderful way to spend your time. And I know for professors and staff at RIT, things thankfully slow down over the summer, and you can finally get to some of that recreational reading that you've had to put off thus far. So reading for fun. Where to find good book suggestions? Like I said, the Literary Book Award, and there are many. And I really trust these because they are awarded by people who are experts within that field or within that are very familiar or write themselves in that particular genre. They're awarded every year. And not only do they award the best of, but they also often have runners-up or honorable mentions. So you can look at these awards from this year or historically and find a number of titles each year. So I'm going to share some of these book awards with you. And again, these are all live links, so you'll be able to find them and peruse them on your own time. The American Library Association has a long list of awards that they give authors and illustrators every year. So this link here is going to take you to their award page. And there are links to the different categories with a little description. So best young adult novel, best nonfiction book, best book that speaks to nonviolence, best fiction, best nonfiction, best graphic novel, best illustrated book of the year, so on and so forth. So you can have a lot of fun with the American Library Association's award page. Now, in terms of other associations and other literary degrees, awards, not degrees, other literary awards, here are some of them. The PEN Award. Now, the PEN Award stands at, like it says here, these are all books that have to do with human rights. And they represent, thank goodness in this country, the freedom of expression, freedom of speech, free from censorship. So they have as their cause to champion the freedom to write, and knowing that written words are extremely powerful. So check out the PEN Awards. It's a really wonderful cross-cultural list of written pieces. Now, the Edgar Allan Poe Award is given by, given by the Mystery Writers of America. So if you like mysteries, head on over to the Edgar Allan Poe Award page. If you like horror, like you're a big Stephen King fan, but hey, there are a lot of excellent horror authors out there. The Bram Stoker Awards are given out each year by the Horror Writers Association. The Nebula Awards, science fiction and fantasy. I know this genre is extremely popular. So the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America give out an award every year. Head to this link to see this year's and years past. National Book Critics Award. This is often thought to be like the cream of the crop. And they do give awards in these different categories: fiction, nonfiction, biography, autobiography, poetry, and criticism. But don't be alarmed that like the cream of the crop means these are like uber highbrow texts. If I can't find something to read, I look at these lists and I can always find an exceptional novel. I really like novels. So check out the National Book Critics Award, Circle Awards. The Booker Prize. This is kind of like the National Book Award for the UK. This is for a novel that is published in the United Kingdom. National Book Award. It sounds like the Book Critics Award, but it is, whoopsies, it is a different organization. Again, they strive to show American literary talent, cross-cultural. If you like historical fiction, the Society of American Historians gives out a handful of awards in different categories. So the best historical novel that takes place in America, the best work of American history that they think has appealing and enduring significance, and just the best book on American history in terms of it being extremely well written. So if you're a history buff, check out the Society of American Historians Awards. The Eisner Awards. This is actually one of many that are given out by Comic-Con International. So the Eisner Award is considered the Oscar of comics and graphic novels. But if you follow this link, it'll take you to some other awards that are under this umbrella. So that should be fun for you. Now let's get to some specific recommendations. I reached out to some of my friends at the RIT Library, and I just knew that they would have some excellent recommendations. So here is a recommendation from Dan Trout. He's our money guy. He places all of the orders for books and films and journals and magazines. So he recommends Ender's Game. Now, each of these titles that I'm going to show you are a link to this book on the Goodreads website. I like Goodreads because there's a discussion of the books, and there's also an easily findable summary. I didn't want to link to Amazon just because the Amazon pages for books are so busy and convoluted. I wanted to link you to something more literary. But of course, you can find all of these titles via Amazon or your local library. I did check to see if RIT had them, but you can go onto the library website and check our catalog for these titles. So Ender's Game is the book Dan recommends, and it's about Andrew Ender Wiggin. And he just thinks he's playing this war simulation video game, but in fact, he's actually part of a genetic experimentation. And the military is hoping that Ender is the genius that the Earth is seeking to help fight this evil alien presence that's threatening to destroy all of human life. Orson Scott Card is the author. You might be familiar with this series of books or some of Card's other books. He's a pretty prolific science fiction and fantasy writer. So check it out. The next book is recommended by Liz Call. She's RIT's archivist. And the title is Devil in the White City, Murder, Magic, and Madness at the Fair that Changed America. It's by Eric Larson. I like the description that Goodreads had because they said, this story is so incredible that you can't believe it's a true story, but it is. It's about the story of two men, Daniel Burnham, who was the architect responsible for the fair's construction, and H.H. Holmes, a serial killer masquerading as a charming doctor. I mean, it sounds like the stuff of fiction, but it's not. So check out Devil in the White City. Morna Hildebrand is our amazing interlibrary loan librarian. And she recently read a book, I wouldn't say about, but a book with letters written to and from Jane Goodall. I didn't put Jane Goodall's little bio here because I assumed you all knew who Jane Goodall is, but this is a self-portrait, and it is considered to be offering one of the best insights into Jane Goodall as a person, her work and her thoughts. So she began with her studies, of course, with the chimpanzees, and went on to become an incredible environmentalist. And this book containing these letters is really fascinating. So check it out, Africa in My Blood. Sarah Kuhl is our amazing marketing and communications manager. So she's responsible for all of our cool posts on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all of our beautiful signs. She recommends a book called She Explores. I'm going to move myself down because I'm in the way. She Explores stories of life-changing adventures on the road and in the wild. So there's 40 women presented in this book, and they are women that love to participate in activities and adventures outside in a myriad of ways: camping, driving to places, sleeping under the stars, backpacking, long distance, bike riding by themselves with people, with their children. And the cool thing about this book is that it offers wilderness skills, packing tips, equipment tips, and recipes. So and if you really love this book, the author, Gail Stroud, is the founder of a media platform called She Explores, and it's a blog, and I guess she has quite a following. So if you're the outdoorsy type, check this out, She Explores. Kira Barnes is our cataloging and metadata librarian. So when we order a book and we need to have it added to the computer so you can find it, she's our woman. And she's also fluent in French. So the book, The Toll by Sherry Priest. This is a thriller. And I'm just going to read the description. Titus and Melanie leave their hotel in Fargo for a second honeymoon to canoe in the Okefenokee Swamp. But before they reach their destination, they draw up to a halt at the edge of a rickety bridge with old stone pilings. You know, one of these bridges over water that's a single lane. Well, later on, a tow truck arrives. And what is found is Titus lying in the middle of the road and Melanie having disappeared. So Sherry Priest writes fantasy and fiction and science fiction and thrillers. So I am definitely going to check out this book because it sounds like a fantastic cliffhanger. Rebecca Walker is our digital humanities and social sciences librarian. And she actually recommended this book based on her sister recommending it to her. So she plans on reading it. And it is nonfiction, speaks about a very current and important topic. It's called Evicted, Poverty and Profit in the American City by Matthew Desmond. Matthew Desmond is a renowned sociologist and a researcher and writer about poverty in America. He's actually won the MacArthur Genius Grant in 2015 for his work. And this book helps to transform our understanding of poverty and the exploitation economically. And but it's not hopeless. In his book, he offers ideas for solving some of our problems, our most devastating problems today. So there's scenes of loss, but also of hope. So if you'd like to delve into some really important literature, read Evicted by Matthew Desmond. And lastly, Justin Newcomer, he's our senior systems administrator. That means he helps us out a lot with all of our computer stuff, which is a lot. He mentioned to me that he really likes the book, How to Invent Everything, a survival guide for the stranded time traveler. Now, it sounds a bit of fantasy, but it's not. This author, Ryan North, is really captivated by the idea of time travel. And he's done a lot of work in the comic and graphic novel world. But he came up with this idea of writing a book where if a person went back thousands of years in time and got stuck, how would they survive? So what he's done is compiled this book of instructions as to how to invent modern conveniences that we just take for granted from very first principles. So there's great illustrations. It's a lot of fun and I highly recommend it. I've ordered it. In fact, I've ordered most of these titles once they all gave me their recommendations. So I'm going to stop my share. So there you have it. Some great recommendations as to how to find some fabulous reads and some specific titles from your friends at the Wallace Libraries here at RIT. Thank you for viewing and happy reading. I know my pile of books next to my bed is It'll take me all summer to read it, but what could be better than having a pile of fantastic books to dive into? So I wish you well. Have a beautiful summer. Good luck with your studies and your fun. All right. Nice to see you. Bye.